the area to enable the crime scene investigation, which will have to go forward, but also just to try to end the incident until they get that shooter either apprehended or at least locked down in a position where they have a barricaded subject. They're going to need a lot of police to deal with that. As far as who's in charge of it, down the road in terms of who prosecutes the case, that'll be determined by the motivation. Do we have a mentally deranged individual? Do we have someone motivated by a possible terrorism motivation, which would cause the FBI to be the lead agency? Those are facts which are not yet determined. So right now, everybody works together. And again, airports like LAX and other large airports throughout the United States conduct training exercises on a continuing basis for everything from airplane hijackings to incidents in the terminals themselves. So this is not going to be something that they're not used to dealing with in terms of, at least they may have trained for this particular incident on many occasions.
And you can see from the pictures we're showing our viewers, courtesy of our affiliates in Los Angeles, there's a heightened, intense operation underway right now to deal with this incident at LAX. Casey Wyan is joining us on the phone right now, one of our reporters based in Los Angeles. What are you hearing, Casey?
Well, Wolf, what we're hearing from KNX Radio here in Los Angeles, they had someone on the air just a couple of minutes ago who they described as an eyewitness to the shooting, and he described a white male, clean-cut guy with a rifle. We don't know, we can't independently verify if this person was an actual eyewitness to this event, but local radio here did present him as one. We do know that Terminal 3, this is the place where the shooting actually happened, according to local officials here. We also know that the area around the airport is just jam-packed with cars. Police obviously shutting down access to the airport to try to get control of this situation. Also want to talk about just over the last couple of weeks, Wolf, it's been a very, very difficult time for LAX in terms of potential security problems. You'll probably recall just within the last several weeks, there was a TSA agent who was arrested for making threats against LAX, claiming that he would plant explosives and blow up the airport. Also, not long ago, there were a couple of contractor employees arrested at LAX for planting dry ice bombs, which was a very bizarre incident, apparently some sort of a prank gone wrong. Obviously, this incident, though, appears much more serious, Wolf.
When you say much more serious, I see what the reaction has been from local authorities, from local police. This looks like a massive operation underway right now at Terminal 3 at LAX. It doesn't look like just a small little incident. It looks like something pretty serious.
That's what our understanding is as well, Wolf. We're not on the scene yet. We are on the way from our bureau to LAX, but we do have a producer, Tracy Tamura, who is in the area, and she describes it as basically locked down. There's no way to get a car into the airport, so it's clear that the authorities are trying to restrict access to the airport and get this situation under control, Wolf.
And we see the firefighters there on the left part of our screen. They are dealing with the injured, and there seem to be multiple injuries right now. We don't have an exact count. We don't know if there are any fatalities or anything along those lines, but we do see the Los Angeles Fire Department there evacuating people, bringing folks out of that Terminal 3 right now. This is something, Tom Fuentes, that has to be closely coordinated. The police authorities who are there, plus the firefighters who come in, the rescue operations, if you will.
Yes, it would be, Wolf. And as I mentioned, the authorities, including rescue personnel, first responders, medical, hospital, are frequently training together to address any kind of an incident like this, whether it's a bomb that goes off and injures hundreds of people, or whether it's an attempted hijacking, or whether it's any kind of an incident in the terminal, either in a secure area or, it's not a secure area. When you go to the ticket counter and you go from the ticket counter toward the gates, that's the point where you would go through security and have a search happening. So up until that point, there's hundreds and thousands of people in the area of the airport, both on the street approaching it and as well as in the airport itself, who have not yet been through security. And therefore, you could have somebody with a firearm in that area because there would have been no way to check them yet. the other issue of importance is that in terms of eyewitnesses to the incident, when they report seeing somebody with a rifle or a shotgun, at this point, you really have to be careful that you could be reporting on plainclothes law enforcement who are maybe arriving from another terminal or another part of the airport. So you will see people in uniform and out who may be brandishing weapons within that airport that are law enforcement now, that are responders or off-duty police officers, not just necessarily the shooter. So we would want to be clear that a witness is a person who actually saw the person holding the weapon, shooting the weapon, giving you a smoking gun description of who pulled the trigger and who was injured at the other end of it, if they know.
It shouldn't be surprising to any of our viewers. There now has been a ground stop at LAX, meaning no flights are coming in, no flights are taking off as this incident continues, and we see law enforcement. We see fire and rescue operators on the scene as well. It looks like they're gearing up for something protracted. You can see some temporary structures now being established there. Unclear what has happened. We did see some wounded folks evacuated from Terminal 3 at LAX a little while ago. In fact, we had some video of one individual wearing a blue shirt and you could make out some blood on that shirt as well. We don't know if that was a TSA uniformed personnel officer or anyone, or if it was just someone else wearing a uniform or wearing an outfit similar to what the TSA wears. But it's clear that this is they're gearing up for a big operation. Casey Wyand is on the way to LAX. I don't know how close you're going to get, Casey, because as you say, our producers on the scene, they say that the whole area has been cordoned off right now for understandable reasons.